Onto this, the ANC Interim Provincial Committee in the Northwest has temporarily suspended Premier Job Mokgoro. My colleague Kylie Khumalo is standing by to get into conversation with him as we find the reasons why. Kaya?
Well, that's right, Dudu. So a short while ago, the IPC coordinator, Hlomani Chawuke, made the announcement that the Premier will be suspended alongside some members of the legislature as well. In total, it's about 5 members. And of course, this is in relation to the election of the chair of chairs in the legislature. And we do know this is a very significant position. This is someone who's responsible for overseeing the portfolio committee. But Premier Mokgoro joins us now really just to get his reaction to the news. So, Premier, have you been suspended officially? I mean, it just came out today.
Unfortunately, the suspension I know of is only through the media. I have not received any communication. Nobody from the IPC has spoken to me about my so-called suspension.
And obviously, they also went as far as saying, Premier, that now you'll be supervised in your work. Obviously, they say they won't interfere with your prerogatives, with how you make appointments, but on key decisions, now you'll be supervised. What do you make of that?
Well, firstly, let me just state very categorically that I'm committed to the principles and values of the African National Congress, and I always abide by instructions, mandates from the leadership of the African National Congress. If the leadership in its entirety of the African National Congress, including the national leadership, take a view that I should be suspended, I will humbly abide by that decision. With regard to continue my work as Premier, I continue to do so. Even now, I've just emerged from a meeting chaired by the President. And I'm going back to my desk to do my work as Premier of the Northwest, because the leadership of the African National Congress that has deployed me has not suspended me.
And once again, Premier, you say officially you have not received the letter.
No, I have not.
That's rather bizarre. And, you know, while the political drama is unfolding, Premier, at the heart of this story, you know, the service delivery, that's the main issue. So for you going forward, how are you going to make sure that, for example, the residents of Mahikeng and the entire province are not affected by this?
I remain committed to delivering to the just over 4 million people of the Northwest Province. I've always been since day one. I continue to be. That is why myself and some of my immediate staff, for the past 2 years, we have not taken a break in December and January. We don't know a thing called Christmas, New Year, from a work point of view. And that is the level of commitment we have. Citizens of this province call me from Sunday to Sunday, day and night, anytime. And where it is humanly possible, I've always, together with my PA, made every effort to respond. And some of the issues that they would be asking for, complaining about, I refer them to MECs. And we'll continue to do that, because that is precisely what the leadership of this beloved movement, the African National Congress, expects of us to do.
And obviously, Mr. Premier, the issue of factionalism, the challenges facing the Northwest, the ANC, these are not new phenomena. You go back to 2018 when you were appointed, there was a whole issue that you'd be a compromise candidate between the ANC here in the Northwest and the national head office in Luthuli House. How has it been for you? Has it been a tumultuous ride to try and bring all these elements and make sure that there's stability and order?
I've always had the needed support and encouragement from the African National Congress at national level at Luthuli. In the province, it has not been easy sailing. From time to time, I think we would find each other, and other times we would. But the fundamental, the bottom line here is, as leaders, do we have integrity? And my analysis and diagnosis is that oftentimes when we fail as leaders here, it is because we are very short on integrity.
And now going forward, what's going to be the way forward? Are you perhaps going to pursue legal action? What options are you looking at currently?
There's only one option. It is to communicate these bizarre happenings to the leadership of the African National Congress at Luthuli, because that's why I answer.
And maybe just once again, Premier, before I let you go, COVID-19 as Northwest, how are you doing? There's a great anticipation in the country as you know that tomorrow we're going to see the first batch of vaccine coming to our shores. How prepared are you as the Northwest?
Well, as you know, the entire nation, when you look at the rate of infection, the curve has really declined to levels that give us a sense of courage, a sense of hope. We are just disturbed by the number of deaths that are occurring. We've been working very hard to make sure that we address the whole question of, as the President recently said, the first component is compliance with non-pharmaceutical prescripts, including having the necessary capacity around healthcare. And we're working day and night. A little bit of a challenge with result to healthcare, but we are addressing on a day-to-day basis where the leadership in the Department of Health are doing ongoing recruitment of health workers. But by and large, we think we're okay. We would like to thank our citizens who have been complying with regulations, but we would also remind those who continue to defy the regulations that have been set to protect our own lives. So that's one component. The second component has to do with vaccination rollout. With regard to vaccination or rollout, we also made sure that as soon as national directives came out that we get down to work. We are ready. We'll be having a press conference tomorrow. I'll be joined by some MECs that are more central to the task of fighting the pandemic. We'll be having a press conference tomorrow. We'll be announcing to the people of the Northwest how we intend to roll out as part of the national rollout, which, as we all know, would be in respect of phase 1 this time around, where health workers would be targeted.
And Premier, do you have a capacity to store the vaccine?
Yes, I will be making detailed announcement on that.
All right. Premier, thank you so much indeed for your time. Of course, that was the Northwest Premier and Dr. Mokgoro really talking about very bizarre developments here in the Northwest. Thus far, he has not received a letter confirming his suspension. And of course, the ANC here, the IPC, through the interim structure, had made an announcement that his work will be supervised. But of course, we'll continue to monitor developments here to do. The Premier says now he's going to consult with the ANC national office bearers just to understand so that they really advise him on the way forward. Otherwise, he's seized with his day-to-day duties.